Hey everyone, welcome back to RPGs We Love Too, the latest marathon from the RPG Valkyries. I'm Margaret Ann, your host for this next run, Lufia 2, Rise of the Sinistrals, as played by V. Ellison. If you want to donate towards any of the three incentives, fourth character, monster companion, and monster's name, you have just a teeny tiny bit more time while I finish off my spiel, but as soon as I'm done and they start, that's it. But before we get to that, let's remember why we're here. RPGs We Love celebrates amazing games in order to help our Valkyries make it to RPG Limit Break in May. We have plenty of great incentives to donate towards, including the ones just for this run, which, again, going to cut off soon. Don't forget, this marathon is running through Saturday, and even if you want to donate towards incentives for games that haven't been run yet, there are plenty of options left. We are nearing our $5,000 goal, so it'd be amazing if we could beat that during this run while V. Ellison is beating the game. And as a final reminder, subs and bits will continue to go towards Take This, the cause the Valkyries support all year long. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this amazing speedrun of Lufia 2. V. Ellison, take it away.
Thanks so much for that. Yes, hi, I am Ellison, or the Ellison, and this is an attempt to stumble through a spelunking adventure of the ancient cave, where we just came from an awesome, absolutely awesome, almost perfectly, I think, our competitor will say, RNG manipulated run of Chrono Trigger. This game is about as un-RNG manipulated as possible. There will be strife, there will be woes, there will be struggles, and there will be tears. But most of all, at the very end of this 2-hour run, there will hopefully be one less giant blob of jelly in the world. I'm joined today by my good pal Meats. He has been a runner of the Ancient Cave for a while. He's a great buddy of mine. He's going to be helping me on commentary.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Meats. Hope you guys enjoy the Ancient Cave, the greatest speed game in all of history.
It's pretty awesome. I'm glad that it has as much of a following in here. Before I get started, I'm going to go over a couple of things really quick. I'm starting the game in gift mode, and gift mode comes from beating the game in regular mode and retry mode once each. Gift mode brings you to the coolest plot of the game, because we don't really care about the other traditional JRPG plot. So we're going to go ahead and get things started where you just punch in our name, and then we're ready to go. I'm going to do bagels, because earlier in the run, RPG Chick had a fun adventure with bagels during her Shining Force CD run, and I appreciated that. Before I get started, though, I'm going to cut off the incentives for my fourth party member pet and pet name. Can you go ahead and hook me up with those?
All right, so your fourth party member is Salon, or Salon, with $6. The capsule monster that you're going to bring with you is Blaze with $50.
Of course.
And the name for your capsule monster is Slinky.
We have to get a little creative there because it's only a 5-character name.
Maybe drop the I. It's SLINKY. So
Capital S, right?
Yes, capital S.
Okay.
Yeah, true.
All right.
Probably drop the I for that one.
SLNKY. Okay, cool. All right. Well, then I'll go ahead and get things started. Guess I've got the timer here, but I'll just go ahead and say it anyway. 3, 2, 1, and go. So we're in Grubrick. We're playing the bonus game of Lufia 2, Rise of the Sinistrals. The big deal about this is that in this portion of the game, after you beat it, you just get straight access to the Ancient Cave, which is pretty much the only reason why you'd want to do it. It's replayable. There are some fun reasons to play it. It's a pretty much RNG style roguelike game. I'd say it's one of the originals. The maps generate themselves on every floor, and the contents of the chests, if they spawn, are loaded in sort of a random style. Many of the contents of the chests we kind of know, as we've extracted that data from the game, and we can tell what's going to be in chests. But the big thing about them is that they spawn with goods populated over a period of floor times. So say every 3 floors, I'll know what's going to be in one of the chests, or something like that. We know that, and we also know the monster layout too, to some degree. So for instance, I'm not going to see gigantic, scary, super duper spooky ghosts on floor 1 or floor 2. We'll see mostly bats and spiders and the like. Traditional pest control in JRPG fashion. The quirks to this are the items that spawn in chests that are not equipment. You'll see I'm picking up some things like potions and whatnot. Potions or MP restoratives called high magic or X magic, or rejuvenation items like the miracle and regain. They spawn on pretty much any floor that you go to, which is helpful.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
They never spawn at all, and you lose.
It's pretty terrible when you don't get the goodies that you're looking for. And also, magic spells spawn. They can spawn on any floor. Normally, in the main game, you would purchase a spell, and you would have to buy the spell from a vendor in a town and get access of that spell to one particular person. And in this cave, if you find a spell, then it actually goes right to everybody, which is super helpful, because then you don't have to find multiple versions of that spell, just so that way everyone can learn, say, how to use heal or how to use water magic or whatever it may be. Now, the quirk to this is that in the main storyline of the game, you can actually get to this portion of the game. This is actually a town that you can optionally cross through. There's some neat things you can get in the town. It sells ice balls, which are useful for a speed kill of one of the bosses in the game, Idura. And you can also do the Ancient Cave and find, you can find chests called blue chests, like this one right here. Normally, that's a good one. When you start up the Ancient Cave, normally you get bumped everyone down back to level 1, and everyone just has to kind of go through the cave with 10 potions and your wits. Any red chests you find, congratulations, you found something cool, and that will help you advance through the cave. If you find any blue chests, however, you can actually take those items out of the cave and back in with you. So a lot of times players will replay the cave taking in some of their blue chest goodies with them. And in the campaign mode, there's actually a couple of blue chest items that you can find as monster drops. Bringing those into the cave make running it a lot easier. I found the Boom Turban, which is a really good helmet for... Actually, I'll give it to Salon. The nice thing about many of the blue chests is that pretty much all of them do have some use in some degree. There are a few that are utterly useless in the context of this run. That's nice.
Well, the good thing about you bringing Seelan this time, too, is that normally when you bring Guy, you don't get access to, like, a lot of blue chest items because they're basically girl-only items. But we have one of the girls with us this time, so hopefully we find that stuff and actually get to use it, because normally you find it and it's just super sad because it's worthless.
Yeah, the perk to bringing Salon is that she actually has the largest pool of equipable equipment out of everything that can be found in the cave. And you can't find everything in the cave that would normally be accessible through the main game, but you can find a lot of it. So ultimately, you want to try and find as much blue chest stuff as you can. And like Meat said, we bring Guy, usually, who is a bulky meathead, for lack of better terms. He's strong, he's fierce, he does a lot of damage to stuff when he attacks them. And he's kind of tanky, which is super helpful, of course. But his big sell is that he has access to some pretty good weaponry for killing the jelly at the end, which is kind of the main purpose we're here. Ooh.
Oh, nice.
And I'll actually go over some weapons now. In terms of survival, there are things that you can find, all different kinds of weapons, items, some better than others, obviously. Oh, yes. In terms of key things to find, there are some important things that you'll be able to get your hands on. Magic spells, certain consumable items, and weaponry, of course, to make the game as likely to complete as possible. Oh, I forgot to rename my pet. Someone should slap me for that. Thank you.
I was just about to jump in and say, I'm sorry.
One of the weapons he just found, too, the Deadly Rod, is basically one of the most important items you can find in the cave for like a speed run, because it gives you an 80% chance to instant kill enemies when you hit them, which, speedrun purposes, that makes things pretty fast. The downside to it, though, is that it's cursed and is completely useless against the jelly unless you uncurse it. So we're going to be looking for a curse lifter in one of these chests along the way, and hopefully if we find that, that'll make killing the jelly a lot easier.
And speaking of killing the jelly, these jellies here I'm killing are just random monsters. At the very end of the cave, there's a jelly that has 9,980 HP, and you're given 3 turns to kill it. He will outspeed you in pretty much every possible scenario, so you're likely not killing him unless you get weapons that have fractional-based damage abilities, and those are the weapons that you'll see in the second row from the top in my little tracker there. They are weapons that do fractional damage based on the foe's current HP. Nothing like that Demi 2 nonsense that we saw in Final Fantasy Tactics earlier. And the big cells that they show up a little bit later on in the cave, but boy howdy they're useful when you finally find them. Killing some monsters here early on. I normally don't do this in a speedrun. I'll skip the first couple of floors because the chest contents and EXP per kill is just, virtually non-existent. But doing a little bit here just for safety because it's possible to get shafted with a really, really terrible spawn in one of the earlier floors, and getting shafted with that is just really, really, it's a slowdown to say the least. I just got Zap, which is the most powerful magic spell in the cave, so to speak. Artie is the only one who can use it. You notice a little quirk with Artie. His name is ARTY in the battle menu, but if I look in the menu here, it's actually... if I look in like the main plot of the game and any dialogue, it's actually mentioned and spelled as ARTY. Just a little quirk. But yeah, the big thing in here is that we're looking for key spells. There are 3 tiers of pretty much every spell except for Holy and Revivals, which there are only 2 of. And the sooner we get those, the sooner we get safe access to. Oh. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
Oh, did it freeze on my side too?
It's frozen on mine.
It's frozen for me as well. I see a
Oh no.
circle-y thing going, like it's trying to buffer a load or something.
Let me know when it's back up. I'll just hover in the spot. It said, oh, my thing says reconnecting. I'm sorry about that.
It's fine.
How long ago did you lose me?
Like 30 seconds at wherever.
Okay.
It's just the game trying to compensate for getting all the good stuff early, right?
Yeah, we are getting some pretty nice things, honestly. Stream is disconnected. Could not access a specific channel or stream key. Yeah, I was just fine. I didn't change anything mid-run. Let me just shut down my OBS, I guess. Okay, rebooting. Okay. Okay.
We live?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
One
Alright.
around. I don't see any more error messages on my side. There we go. As I mentioned, there would be tears and woes, and it sure didn't take too long.
That was probably Venicus's fault for showing
Yeah,
up in the stream.
we can blame him. That's fine with me.
Yeah, what were we saying? This game was easy, I think, right?
Yeah. I think I was talking about how I was looking through other floor or other items on the floor just to pick up some goodies. There's a good one, Strong, the basic healing spell of the game. Pork Supreme, those balls, you do not consume them. They are, well, you do not use them for yourself. They're battle consumables, yeah. Oh, hello.
That's a great room.
This is what I like to call a party room. Every now and then you'll find them, and there's just a bunch of monsters and a bunch of chests, up to 8 possible in a particular floor or room. It is a mess. I'm going to ignore that one for the time being if I can help it, because I really don't want to take too long going through that. The monsters in there aren't all too great for EXP and whatnot.
Yeah, later on, too, if you run into party rooms like that and they're full of dangerous monsters, it can basically be GG for any run, even if you're high level. So, luckily, with the 2-hour time limit we got going here, we should be able to get levels to not have that kind of stuff end the run.
Oops. I'm not signing up for Dragon Con. I'm not looking forward to that. So I've got Blaze. He's actually, he's sort of useful. He brings a few things, in particular a fire element to the early portions of the game, which is really helpful because a lot of enemies early on are weak to fire. The other perks I've got in this are, well, my team. I've got Decker, who is pretty much mandatory in terms of what you'd ever call a speedrun of this cave, because he has access to the elusive Decker Blade, which does the most damage out of, well, anything.
Yeah, Decker Blade is the most important item to find for killing the jelly at the end, if you can find it, because it does half of the jelly's current HP in one hit. So that makes killing the jelly a lot easier at lower levels. So if we can find that, that will be a huge sigh of relief. It starts spawning pretty early too on floor 15, unlike the other fractional weapons, so it's a decent chance to find it pretty early if we can.
Yeah, then when an item starts appearing in chests, it will stay there for pretty much the duration of the run. That does not include anything that spawned in floors 1 through 9, however, with the exception of weapons, and that's just a quirk of the system. Rings, rocks, helmets, shields, unless they come in a blue chest, I'm probably never going to see one anymore, and I didn't actually get one this time around. I got a couple of helmets, but I didn't get any rings or rocks, which are just accessories, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, the only place you can get those basically going forward is off of a monster drop, but there's nothing like that particularly interesting that we're going to be going for, so pretty much no helmets or rocks or rings.
The tracker you're looking at is one I actually made this homemade in Excel, because I do everything in Excel. That's kind of like my day job. So Krieg made one that was really great. It's like he said, it's a reskin of the Legend of Zelda randomizer tracker. Ooh. Holy moly. This is a party room.
Yeah, these are cores, and these are super important for speedruns because they give way more experience than anything else you're going to fight on these levels. So if you can get a couple to stay, because they tend to run in battle, which you'll probably see right here.
We got one.
Or well, let's hope you don't.
We got two. Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of experience. That's really, really good.
Yeah, they're kind of like the metal slimes from the Dragon Quest games, or the Rubbles and Chrono Trigger that just give a ton of EXP. They can poke you a little bit, and they run away pretty frequently.
If we have a moment, we did have a donation.
Oh.
From N7 Commander John donated $5, saying, "Fix your interwebs, Daddy, and good luck on the run."
Haha. John's a good buddy of mine. I'm glad to see that. Thank you, man.
And if he wants to put it towards something, just let me know. Thank you.
Oh,
Alright,
I
so
was
what I'm doing
hoping
now
you
is
wouldn't
I got
feed
this
it.
Berserk Blade. It's really cool. It's a super powerful weapon. It's terrible. We don't want it. We want to feed it to our pet now so we can evolve our pet quicker. The reason we feed it off really quickly is because, for two reasons actually. One is a cursed item, and cursed items, if you equip it, require a curse lifter, much like the deadly rod that we mentioned earlier. Two, if you equip a cursed item and you don't find a curse lifter, there's one.
Wow.
It can be really, really difficult to get one off. And if Decker accidentally equips it, which the optimal equip button will just equip it automatically for a long time, you're stuck with it, and you can't equip a Decker Blade, and you probably cannot kill the jelly. So we feed those off quickly just to get rid of them from our inventory so we don't accidentally equip them later on.
Yeah, I've thrown a bunch of runs by not remembering to feed the Berserk Blade to my Capsule Monster and then just equipping it and not having enough damage for the jelly, so definitely something you gotta remember.
This core luck is ridiculous.
Yeah, this is great. Until they kill Maxim.
Five red cores. Typically, if we get two, that's pretty amazing. That's enough to call a run and just move on. They have what, like an 80% or 90% chance to run away, or some, I don't know, it's just an obscenely high number.
I think it's like probably 75% or something. I'm just making that number up, though I don't actually know.
It's high. That's what we do know.
Yeah.
The other thing about cores is they come in 4 different flavors. The red cores are what you see first. Then you'll also see blue, green, and no cores. No cores give the most. They give a whopping 55,000 experience, which is pretty much all we'll ever need in terms of EXP. The green cores give 33,000. Oh, no, I used heal. Whoops. Sorry, I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, you should be able to kill it.
So reds give 2,222 experience. A blue core is worth about 5. Wow. About 5 cores, or 5 reds. A green core is worth 3 blues, and a no core is worth 5 blues. So we want them when we can get them. We mentioned killing the jelly at the very bottom using special abilities, and I really haven't gone too much into them. We did talk a little bit about the fractional-based attacks, but in this game there's a little yellow gauge that you'll notice whenever I'm in battle is located underneath the HP bars and MP bars. Those gauges contain the IP or Ikari points or item points or item power. As you get hit, your IP meter fills, and as your IP meter fills, you get to use the abilities that are built into your weapons. They all have unique charge amounts, and the more you get hit, the better you have in terms of the abilities that you can use. Some of them are just basic attacks, some of them are like multipliers of your own attacks, some of them are healing and supportive or recovery, and some of them are these fractional abilities. The deadly rod that we found along with the curse lifter has the unique ability to have an 80% chance of killing stuff when it's equipped and cursed, and when you uncurse it, it gets access to an ability that deals 1/8 fractional damage of an opponent that you hit. Ooh.
Oh boy.
That's pretty big. Valor is the ultimate in terms of recovery spells. I'm really glad we found that. Holy enemies in this game can be healed to death, and Valor does hurt them, so that's a pretty good one to have. Zap is a holy element attack, but it doesn't heal stuff. You want to go into some of the dangers of what we're going to be running into pretty soon? Because we're about to hit floor 20, and this is where things start to change a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna be running into the first things that I don't like is gonna be teleporters pretty soon. There's gonna be these little pumpkin-headed guys, and they're not too difficult to deal with, but teleporters in general are a pain. because you just kind of have to be a little more careful when you're running around, or you're going to run into them and waste time. They're not usually too dangerous to like end the run this early on, but eventually there will be teleporters that are you basically need to avoid them at all costs. And another thing that's coming up on floor 29 to 31 are things called blue mimics, which I'm hoping we have to fight a couple of.
No, I don't think
No,
we
I'm
should
just-
fight any of them.
I'm just kidding. They're horrible. They're run enders even if you're over leveled sometimes. So they're basically blue treasure chests that don't move, and sometimes they can be blocking the stairs or doorways that you have to go through. And if that happens, it is bad news. So we're gonna hope that we don't get any of those. Once you're past 31, though, the next thing that you really have to worry about is basically assassins on floor 37. That's a while away. So
assassins?
just wait on that. Yeah.
Don't
They
you mean
take up-
assassins?
Oh yeah, you're right. Assassins. So another great thing about this game is the translations. Some guy didn't know what a golem was, didn't know what an assassin was, and a lot of other things. So they just copied the Japanese text into English, and it doesn't sound quite right. Yeah, Wybon. There's all kinds of stuff. We'll see those coming up. They're pretty great. That's probably my favorite part of the game is the mistranslations.
Yeah, the mimics in this game are pretty fierce. We've passed the red mimics. They appear through floors 9, 10, and 11, and they're annoying because they usually come in batches of 4, and they hit pretty hard if you're underleveled. But I don't need to worry about them too much. The blue mimics, however, have a skill called Frenzy, which hits everybody for a ton of damage, pierces your defense, and it's just, you're not going to have a good time. 2 of them can kill 3 of my party members, and 3 or 4 of them will just end my run immediately. And they don't move, whereas red mimics will chase you down. Even if you leave the room, they'll continue chasing you. So it can be really, really unfortunate if a blue mimic just decides to sit in front of a door that you have to go through, or sit, worst of all, on top of the stairs that you need to go down. Other quirks to this game, not to bring up just the monster translations and stuff, but just some of the enemy behavior. You'll see that they're running around and everything moves when I move. So for instance, if I take a step to the left, the enemies will do whatever their action is for if I take a step to the left. Some of them just kind of meander about lazily, and they just do whatever they want. It's no real indicator as to what exactly they do. They pick a direction and move randomly every 2 or 3 steps. Some of them will teleport, like Meats was saying, which can be inconvenient, but you can deal with them because they're usually smaller enemies. Eventually, we're going to start finding some large enemies, and the large enemies are they take up a 2x2 tile square, and they don't teleport, but sometimes they can come charging after you, and sometimes they can just block pathways and be just really obnoxious. One tactic that you'll see me doing here and there is to move enemies by using my sword. If you press the B button, you effectively use a turn, and that will allow something that would normally act to go somewhere. So, for instance, I could just swipe there, and that enemy sword will move. If you actually decide to move something intentionally, you sort of can, and you can do that through a little, I guess it was kind of an exploit more than a glitch or something, by holding a direction and then swiping your sword. Certain enemies move in specific directions based on the direction that you're moving. And if you are aggressive enough, like you hold the left and you swipe left, then it will luckily move in that direction, or it will move to the right. Whoops.
Oh no.
That was
Oh no.
bad
You're
positioning.
fine. You got
Yeah, these guys aren't too scary.
But yeah, one of the things we take advantage of in this game is called R slashing. So when you hold R, it doesn't let you move. So if you hold a direction while holding R and then slash your sword, it kind of tricks the game into thinking you're moving. And that is super useful for making some of the enemies move around you in a way that lets you get through a room safely.
Remind me when we hit floor 29, or I'm sorry, 27. I'm not going to be paying too much attention to floors, but one thing to take note of is that we brought along a friend. We brought Slinky with us, and we want Slinky to contribute. One way to help Slinky contribute as much as possible is to feed him, and as you feed your pets, they evolve. Their feeding system in this game is pretty bizarre. It's tied to pretty much the monetary value of chests goods rather than, I guess, the quality of the goods in the chests. Ooh, be careful for that one.
Easy every time.
There is one enemy called an evil fish which spawns, and that I just want to show it off. I'm not planning on killing them. They drop an item called a charm fruit, and charm fruits are the necessary item drop for Blaze, or Slinky in our case, to help him evolve to his final form. The annoying thing is evil fish are quite scary. I don't actually plan on fighting them, but if I have to, I just want to be aware that it has a 20% chance of dropping. Some others will drop at a much higher rate for much safer monsters. But the evil fish drop is one of the most dangerous, even at the level that I'm at right now, because I just don't really have the strong means to kill stuff in batches, and evil fish can hit your entire party for respectable damage.
They pretty much hit your party every time, your whole party every time too, so
yeah,
it's not fun to fight.
If it wasn't such a high chance for them to use that attack, then I wouldn't be too concerned about it. Take out these bees. I could use fireball there. Bees are scary because they're fast, and in this game you want to be fast so you can outturn stuff. Artie is pretty much the only person in our group that's going to be outspeeding anything at any point ever. I would typically opt to bring Tia with me, as she can outspeed things pretty frequently. Ouch. And if you don't bring Tia and or Artie, good luck. Bees do drop a bee rock, which gives a pretty hefty speed boost as an accessory to anybody who equips it, so it's kind of nice to get that if you can help it, but it's far from something mandatory.
It's usually not worth trying to go after, but if you do manage to get one, it is very helpful.
I do not have much in the way of MP restoratives. Actually, no. Right, I don't have. Ooh, there's more food. I don't have any high magics or X magics. I think I found one this run so far. Pretty rare.
Venicus knows Sealan is not best girl. I'm sorry. Get out of here with that nonsense. Tia best girl every day.
So I'm looking around for more chests here because I want to get a few more MP restoratives. And other than that, there's not a whole lot else I'm really looking for. Let's see. There we go. I'll hold on to the rest for now. Oh, I forgot I had a Gorgon Rock too.
What?
I had a Gorgon Rock.
Gorgon. Yeah.
The bad one.
The bad one.
So yeah, I'm looking for stuff because I want to find some extra MP restoratives, and also I really want to find an earlier Decker Blade, as well as a couple of better magic spells. I've got Zap, which is fantastic, but Zap's not going to cut it forever since it is kind of an MP drain, and this game doesn't just hand you MP on a healing tile like some other portions of the cave do. There actually is a tile called a healing tile which will recover HP, but it won't recover MP. Let's see. Can you go into a little bit just in terms of dangerous enemies around here?
Yeah, so one thing we just saw in the room below him is called a samurai. They kind of like stumble drunkenly towards you. You saw them right there. They are probably my least favorite enemies in the game. Well, that's not true. Horses are the worst. But second worst is samurais because their movement is random, kind of. They run towards you randomly, if that makes any sense, and
I got a third berserk blade.
it's not very fun to try and get past them sometimes. So luckily, there's no horses for the rest of the cave, so we're good to go basically. Other than that, there's nothing really that dangerous other than men that are coming up. I guess if you have to go down. Oh yeah, there's evil fish, but I block those from my mind.
There's pugs, which you saw those little hoppy things that look like rabbits with fire on their hair. They drop the I don't remember what fruit. They drop a flame fruit, which will evolve Zeppi, one of the other pets, to this final form, which is like an inverted merman, I guess you could say. They're pretty easy to kill if you have a powerful water spell. I don't really have the means to kill them reliably, so I'm not going to go for it. Plus, it evolves into his final form, which is not actually his best form. Oof.
So you were gonna fight the evil fish, right?
Huh.
Kappa.
I would have loved nothing but getting the ultimate form of our good friend, but we're not going to be able to. Instead, we got Thundo Jewel, which is a pretty helpful accessory.
You didn't have to fight any snakes, right? That's another thing that's sort of coming up is the blue snakes. I don't know. If you're in a hallway, sometimes things like snakes or things that move, not really. Yep.
Shadow Killer really just posted it in chat. That is our fish butt friend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the blue snakes, the Corridras, they don't appear for a little while yet.
Corridras, yeah, I couldn't.
They just punch you hard,
like
kind of like those
anything
samurai.
in this game. I don't know what anything's called.
Yeah, Corridras are actually not that scary because one, they do not hit AoE, which is a big deal, and two, they can usually be taken out with a central cast of a spell. I just got Thunder, which is the second most powerful spell in the cave. It is the most powerful spell that Salon can use.
There's nothing really that scary this early on when you have the levels that you've got. So basically the mimics is what we're just looking out for. Those.
Oh, there's one right there. Look, a blue chest. Why don't I pick it up? I'll bet the contents are going to be fantastic. No, you can tell if you look at the red chest, you see there's a little gleam on top, and the blue chest doesn't really have that. That's how you can tell you got a blue mimic. The red mimics kind of look like, for lack of better terms, like someone kind of like a dog peed on it. It's got like a weird sheen of yellow on top of it. It just doesn't stand out very nicely. Oof. That's a good floor.
One more floor of mimics. Nice. Okay, so no blue
no
mimics.
more floors of mimics.
Yep. That's good. Good news. So you're pretty much safe now until you get to the next big obstacle in the run is ninjas on floor 44. Assassins are basically like baby ninjas, but they're not hard. They just take time. So we'll be seeing those sort of soon. But once we get to floor 44, the ninjas are very, very unfriendly sometimes. So we're going to hope for good luck with those.
So right there, I just found a healing tile. They spawn under a bush. Every now and again, you'll be lucky enough to find one. It heals your HP completely, but it doesn't heal your MP at all, which is sad. But, you do what you can. The other the other neat thing is from floors 32, 33, and 34, the blue mimics will spawn, and I'm hoping for a couple of them.
We passed blue mimics. You mean
blue mimics are really helpful. Even if you don't get too much in terms of experience, one blue mimic can really help you catch up. So I'm going to definitely take some time to look around here just to see if I can get one.
Silver Sword's great right there. That's one of the best weapons for Maxim to kill the jelly. And it also fights, it does holy damage, so it's really good for killing undead. So that was a really good find right there.
The other nice thing about the Silver Sword is its IP ability is a 3x or triple attack power damaging weapon. That is useful because it's one of the most powerful weapons that does it.
Yeah, so Silver Sword probably is Maxim's best weapon, up until the jelly, and then it's situational. Silver Sword's just so useful.
Let's see if we get lucky here. Ooh, we got a blue core.
Wow, it's still almost see. Oh man, who
so
voted
the-
for Sealand?
Venicus. Yeah, the reason I tried to get as much experience as I could early on, and I'm skipping a lot of enemies on the way down here, but the reason I try to get as much as I could is because I want as many levels as I can for the EXP, because I just want the bulk more than anything else. I can deal with the lack of physical power if I get some good fractional weapons later on. But Salon just needs all the help she can get.
Yeah, Sealand gets really good later when you get her levels, but she needs to be babied super hard early on. So getting these cores is very, very nice. Oh man, beautiful.
Yep. Nice. So yeah, I see in the chat Margaret Ann's talking about a stun gun. There are tools in this game. Tools can be used by a character named Lexus. Lexus is a character that we don't bring into the cave because he's just not very good. The reason he's not very good is because he doesn't have access to a deadly weapon like the girls do, or like Artie. Oof. He doesn't have access to any significant bulk, but I mean, he's okay. He just, the lack of deadly access and the lack of good speed makes him difficult to use in a pinch.
He's basically the best spellcaster in the game because his intelligence stat is really, really high, like far and above anyone else. But unfortunately, intelligence doesn't really add all that much to spells to make him, on par with the weapon sets that the other characters get. So, I mean, he's better than Sealand, but that's just because,
That guy's also tanky, which is in part because of just better defensive growths and also because of better access to just high power armor. So between his higher HP, he's just tanking a lot more, which is helpful. Selene, as you can see, is not bulky at all. One attack from a blue core barely tinked Decker in his plate mail, and it almost killed Selene when she was at full health. Ooh. Let's slap on a red saber here and take out some crab. Who likes crab?
Yeah, one of the things that is really, really good in the cave is called a cancer rock, and it drops from these crabs right here. So we're probably going to be looking for as many crab fights as we can until we get at least one. So
it's a roughly, I believe, 20-ish% drop, and it's super useful just to have it to begin with. It allows you to do 2 attacks on random targets, but when using it against the jelly, it's nice because there is only one target. And there is another weapon, or I'm sorry, another rock you can find later on called a Hydora rock, which does triple the attack power, or 3 attacks. It also gives a little bit of defense, which is helpful for a certain squishy girl that is in our party. And I would like to have it just for the added bulk on her. But if not, then I'm not going to have any problems. The red saber being fire element means it just does a lot of extra damage. Multipliers are nice for elemental damage in this game. Decker and Guy don't have a ton of them. Maxim, or Bagel in our case, is quite a bit. And Artie, Selene, and Tia, and Lexus have access to magical spells that cover all the elements pretty nicely. Artie's the only one that has fire. I'm sorry, holy. And for whatever reason, Maxim does not have access to fire. Bagel cannot cast fire magic, which is kind of weird. I don't really know why. There's a good buddy down there, an assassin.
Oh yeah. He's the Maxim's the only spellcaster in the game that can't cast fire, and it's really bad because if you could cast it, the game would be a lot easier. Did you put back on the silver sword?
No, I got zapped though. I was banking on no terminal blow. These guys have an ability called terminal blow, which will just be a one-hit KO, and they almost always outspeed you unless you have some pretty good equipment, which I just don't have because I didn't find any blue chests with those contents. Ooh, an iris staff.
So the iris staff, yeah, the iris staff is part of a set of items called the iris items. They are the most useless and worst items in the game, and if you ever pick them up, you should just feel bad because they don't do anything. And the only category that they're used in is iris percent, where you collect all of them. I don't ever recommend running that because it's a very, very long run, like 12 hours minimum for a good run.
No RPG check. No iris percent. There's 9 iris items that you can find in the cave. Only one will ever spawn per floor if you're lucky enough to get one. The iris items can be collected and turned in, and beating the jelly at the very end of the cave gets you your final 10th iris item. What they get you at the end of the game is exactly nothing. It's not even, you get a thank you or congratulations. Just sort of like the collecting all the Pokemon in one of the earlier Pokemon games. You just get a certificate that says, yay, you did it.
And you don't even get a certificate in this.
Nope.
If only. You basically just find all the items for someone too lazy to find them for themselves, and they're just like, cool, I got all the items now.
Find that flame shield, which is kind of nice. That could be helpful later. And it's actually a very defensive shield. I'm going to give that to Bagel right now because he's not exactly the most bulky person. Trick.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah, Trick is a attack buffing spell that is very useful on the final boss. Because the final boss, we said earlier, you have to do 9,980 damage, but you only have 3 turns to do it, or else the boss will kill themselves. And when the boss kills themselves, oh nice, 2 cores. When the boss kills himself, you lose. So you need to kill him in 3 turns, and having an attack buff spell makes it a lot easier. So that was a really good find.
So I just got a green core there. Green cores spawn from floors 41, 42, and 43. And you notice that we're in another different part of the cave. Every 20 floors so far, the cave's changed to some degree. We're done with that. The floors will no longer change until we're at the very end. I see there's a jerk down here.
Oh, never lucky.
Lucky with just one though. Those guys aren't too bad if they only come in ones, but they are pretty quick. Let's see. So here's a good place to demonstrate. These are some of the bigger monsters now that we're finally seeing them. Those are Hydoras, not to be confused with Hydras. Very, very different. They hit pretty hard. They hit frequently, and they're scary. Later on, we're actually going to see some other Hydoras, which under a lot of wow, another Thundo Jewel. There are a lot of circumstances I would kill, and I'm just not going to.
Did you end up getting a Cancer Rock?
I didn't get a Cancer Rock, so I may end up going for it. But I don't have any ice magic, so I'm going to have to rely on a deadly.
Yeah, that's kind of rough.
Which I'm not too thrilled about, but I'm not going to be super opposed to if I can get lucky. They meander about, and eventually they're going to be replaced by high Hydoras, sea Hydoras, and then Orkies. Orkies are terrifying. They attack 8 times in a single turn. If they don't end your run, you probably didn't fight them, and yeah. we just ignore them as much as we can. They don't appear till the 80s. The 80s we'll get over, or we'll discuss as we reach there, because there's a lot of scary things that require their own explanation. For now, just know that I want to bulk up on cores because of scary things that are going to be coming very soon. In particular, they are called ninjas, and they're a little different. Ah, bummer. Not going to be able to get those. Oh well.
I mean, you could.
Not without a lot of effort. So floor 44, 45, and 46, I'm going to be playing it super safe. You'll see me running into doorways and just kind of hanging out in them for a minute. That's because I don't want a ninja to hit me. And ninjas will sense you from across the room and just come charging straight at you, even if they're off screen. Now, once you pass ninjas, then there's not a whole lot to worry about for a little while. So I'm going to take whatever reprieves I can get. In the meantime, we may see something called a Bryn's Lizard, which is a tall blue dragon that takes up a 2x1 tile set, and they're pretty good because of a drop that they have. There's one right there, actually.
Yeah.
Oof.
Ooh, there's a ninja too. Might be able to do the chest thing if you go down.
I don't think so.
Where you were.
Oh.
Yep. Nice.
Didn't get the side attack,
never
though.
lucky.
So these guys can do an attack called Knife Thrower, which is quite powerful. It has a high probability to kill people. I think I'll be okay. Because... Nope, I gotta pray for no Knife Thrower here. Okay.
Okay, you're good. Wow. Oh, it didn't even kill Decker. Nice. Yeah, these guys are not fun to fight. Even when you we're level 25 right now. That is a very good level to be at this area, and they're still scary. So
there's the front attack or side attack. Go ahead and explain, if you don't mind, side attacks and back attack, or I just got in firsts and surprise attacks.
yeah, so it says got in first, and we get a. I think we have to do it now.
Get out of here.
We got time for it or what?
We got.
Well,
I don't know what's going on after this. We can skip the next run, right?
But yeah, so in this game, there's like a surprise attack. Basically, if you attack a monster from the back, you get a free turn. Obviously, it doesn't work on all monsters because some monsters don't have directions that they face. They're just like this monster right here. You can never back attack. But things like ninjas, what he tried to do and got the second time is you can attack them from the back and get a 100% chance at a surprise attack, or you can attack them from the side and you'll get a 50% chance at a surprise attack. So those become super useful later on, like when we're trying to get past dragons and stuff. It's easy to manipulate them into a way to where you can always back attack them. And yeah, we're gonna be taking advantage of that later on. There's another ninja.
Oh, whoops. I think there's one below me. What are you? Curses. I really wish I didn't have to live off of miracles for MP. That's a lot better. So yeah, Salon's almost always going to die to Knife Thrower doubles, which is unfortunate. She'll survive one, as you can see, just barely. And that's only thankful to the huge amount of cores that we've got. I could equip a Deadly Rod to either Artie or Salon right now, and that would help. But I would like to hold out for a blue chest weapon or something else, because I just have a gut feeling that I'm going to need a reason for them not to have something. So we're going to have elemental control.
You found a curse lifter super early on.
I did. I may end up just slapping it on anyway. Come on. But yeah, the big perk here is putting on Artie, who I don't want to put something on just quite yet, in case I find a certain different type of weapon that would just go super well on him. And I could put on Salon, but she's slow, and we don't like putting things on slow people because this is a speed run. Magic fruits are nice. Getting back to feeding, I could probably get ready to evolve Blaze to his form 2, which is pretty cool. The higher forms they are, the better attacks they have, and the better stats they have too. So of course you do want to feed your pets. Just like in real life, kids, feed your doggos and they grow. When they evolve, they change forms. Not a whole lot changes about them. I'm going to take advantage of it in just a little bit here, I think, as soon as I get past 446. I don't like to feed until later on because I want better stuff to feed. We're past ninjas now, which is excellent, by the way. That was tight bit.
Yeah, it's pretty much smooth sailing from here for another dozen or so floors.
Yep, the next thing I'm going to worry about is 460. And until then, I'm just kind of on cruise control. Some big weapons start to appear in the 50s, but I'll go over them when we get to there. But yeah, the big thing I want to do is I want to feed pets food that is more tailored towards their super duper high level of experience. So like the better stuff you find later in the cave is worth more to the pet when you feed it. Magic fruits are always worth 8 on the bar of feeding values equaling out to 32. Come on. And the sooner you get to that 32, the less stuff you have to spend, the better, obviously. So I'm going to try to maximize whatever I can. No. There we go. But yeah, if we can get our Darby up to form 4, which means we got to feed him quite a bit, it would be super helpful because he has the more powerful attacks and higher stats to do things with.
Blaze, you mean?
Blaze, I'm sorry. I mean, Slinky, I'm sorry.
I know we wish we had Darby, but...
Darby would have been fun. He was my request for this originally, but, can't have all the nice things in the world.
Well, at least Blaze is better than Zeppy.
I think I'm going to throw that Deadly Rod on now.
Talk about capsules? I'll talk about capsules. So there's a number of capsule monsters that I don't know the actual number of. I'm going to say 8. I think
there's 7 in total.
7? Alright. It was close. We got 7 capsule monsters. The best one is basically Darby, who gets really high flat damage later on. But
Krieg is going to yell at you hard.
It doesn't save the most time. It actually loses you more time than most of the other capsule monsters. So in terms of saving time, Darby's not the best, but in terms of guaranteeing jelly kills, Darby's your best bet to bring along. But yeah, so we're bringing along Blaze, who is a cool little dog that has fire attacks. It's not really that good for speedrunning because he does decent damage sometimes. But once you're past all the monsters that are weak to fire early on, he's not as useful. Another good capsule monster is Zeppy, who is the king of the sea and makes you do a lot of damage with his attack buffs. He also is a fish with a very nice butt later on, if you evolve him to that form.
Someone want to post a little butt fish in the chat, please, for me?
Yeah, we need a butt fish in the chat. Shadow, you got the memes, right? Yeah, there we go. That's the butt fish. King Zeppy. The rest of the capsule monsters you basically never want to use. Flash, I guess, if you're a casual player, might be okay because Flash heals you. But in terms of speedrunning, Flash will do very little damage and waste a lot of time.
Did you say Flash heals you?
Oh, I mean Flash doesn't heal you, my bad. Flash should heal you, but Flash will never actually heal you. Anyways, then we have Fumi, who's the greatest of all of the capsule monsters. It's just got a billion swag points. If you PB with Fumi, you're basically the greatest cave runner of all time. And that's about
Fumi's
it.
name is actually Gels, but we all call him Fumi because that's his race. And he looks like foam. He's the one that you start off the game with. He's the first one you can access, and if you don't change your capsule monster, he's the one that you have. Oof, that's scary. Let's try a snow sword. I don't. Oh yeah, I forgot Solon can equip the snow sword. Snow sword is good because that's a blue chest sword. It has a lot of attack power. All blue chest weapons in this game have a ton of attack power. I think the highest weapon in terms of just raw power is like what 450, and blue chest stuff, even for the girls, which is the weakest, is 380, which is still higher than most of the other things you'll ever find.
Yeah. Snow Sword's great too because you got it just before Hedoras, which are coming up, and it has ice element. So farming for Hedora rocks is really nice with Snow Sword if you have someone that can equip it.
And my personal favorite part of it is that it gives defense, which, considering Salon's bulk, any single point in defense could be a lifesaver for her.
Yeah, Snow Sword's one of the coolest items, I'd say. It's not the best, but it's just cool.
Oof. Check out this really quick. Okay, so yeah, we're starting to approach some weird floors now. We're almost to 60, and once you hit floor 60, the contents of chests will effectively be locked. No more new things will be added to the pool. Then again, the best things will be available, including the Myth Blade, which is the second best fractional attack weapon in the cave, beyond the Decker Blade. And the Lizard Blow and Old Sword, which come at floor 50, are quite helpful. I'm not going to fight that. Or that. Ouch. So yeah, we kind of want a Myth Blade if we can score one, if possible, for Maxim if I'm stuck, or Bagel in case I'm stuck with situations. I just don't have any other fractional weaponry, but it's not optimal. Of course, we're hoping for a Decker Blade first and foremost, and anything less than that just makes things more difficult.
Yeah, Decker Blade is the #1 item. We want that over anything else, but there are backups, so.
And while we mentioned that the Decker Blade does half of an opponent's health in terms of damage, it actually does a little bit more, and that is because of rows in this game. Units that are in the front row deal more damage, but also take more damage. Let's see what I can get here.
So this is an example of manipulating a monster's enemy enemy's movement to get a back attack guaranteed. And hopefully, if this guy cooperates, we should be able to get it without wasting too much time. Oh, that siren's coming over. Yeah, he's not wanting to cooperate. Ooh.
Just maybe another 20 seconds here.
Well, we're not going to showcase what sirens do. You can head on over to Real Critical's channel. He's got a highlight or a clip of that can show you what they do. They're going to just
sing and dance.
Sing to you. Yeah, they sing and dance, and it's a big time loss, to put it lightly. Oh, nice. So that's a example of a 50% chance of getting a back attack. He was facing left while the siren was facing up, which kind of counts as attacking it from the side. So I don't know why it does. I mean, I guess I know why, but either way, it was good that he got that. He probably would have been able to run anyway, but you don't want to mess with sirens if you have a choice.
They can come in quartets, and fighting anything in 4s is scary, but fighting sirens is worse because they'll paralyze you, put you to sleep, or confuse you, and there's nothing more frustrating than having your arty, who's got a deadly rod equipped, confused, killing your own team.
Or they can just lock you into sleep patterns, and if you didn't run away or you got back attacked or something by them, you just can't do anything at all until someone is status effect free, or whatever you want to say. Because if your entire party's confused, the game is just going to play out until someone isn't. And being locked in that can take minutes away from your speed run because they just continually lock you into songs.
Now I'm about to hit floor 58, and floor 58 is pretty exciting. That is because floor 58 brings in the no cores, the final core of our group, and not to say I absolutely need one, but I sure wouldn't mind having a no core or two just to bulk up my experience a little bit further. Statuses in this game aren't all that easy to cure. You'd have to use a consumable item for that specific status effect. There's no full heal in this game like there is in Pokemon, and there's no Asuna spell like in Final Fantasies that just cure everything that's wrong with you. There's a poison spell and a waken spell, which will cure being poisoned, which is annoying, or being asleep, which is terrible. And if you're confused or paralyzed, you're pretty much on your own.
Yeah, there's like 1 or 2 items in the game that have an IP ability that removes stuff like that from your team, but I mean, I don't even think I've ever seen someone use that in a run, so it's not a very viable option. If you need to use that to wipe your party of status effects, there's other problems probably going on in the run.
Now, you'll notice eventually, if you're familiar with the cave, you'll notice that as often as I can, I'm entering the stairs from the bottom. Rally is good. That's a cheaper resurrection spell. Resurrection spells are nice. That one costs 10 MP, which is a lot cheaper than the one that costs 30. Oh boy. You got one, boys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'll go over things in just a moment here. I want to make sure that I survive this. 2? 3?
Oh.
Okay, I'm good for EXP for the rest of the run now. But yeah, you'll notice I was entering stairs from the bottom, and the reason for that is primarily because of how enemies spawn on the floors after you hit the stairs. If you go up or go downstairs, you'll spawn in facing the direction that you went down the stairs in. Enemies always spawn, if possible, facing downward. And if you're facing upward, which happens if you go up the stairs from the bottom, then the enemy cannot possibly get a back attack on you. At worst, it'll be a 50-50, which is much better than having the enemy surprise you with an attack that just shreds you. And as we start getting into the floors here, like the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s especially, it's very easy to just die by going downstairs in unfortunate ways and getting forced into fights that you just cannot survive from. Enemies like
Hey, we're going for it now. It's time. World record, here we come.
You're kidding me. You're kidding me, game. That's 4.
Is it 4? Really? I thought it was 3.
No, it'll be 4 if we kill the jelly.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's almost halfway there.
Well, it's 3 right now, Shadow Killer, sorry. Yeah, so effectively, Iris items you can't even feed to your pet, which is unfortunate. They just sit in your inventory and take up space, so they're just not that exciting.
Yeah, I was kind of joking, but honestly being serious, they are the most useless items in the game.
Yeah, at least if you
unless
pick up an
you're-
item like a knife or something in floor 70, you can feed it to your pet to kind of reset their hunger meter, because pet feeding is kind of finicky. But you can't feed an iris item, so it just sits in your wallet doing nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, literally any other item is more useful than an iris item. The only thing less useful is finding a copy of a spell that you already have.
Which the only way that can happen is if you find the same version of the spell on the same floor. Because when the game rolls chest contents, it basically rolls from the pool of available items for that particular floor. And spells roll in that roll, so to speak. So when you hit a floor, it's occasionally possible to get a spell twice because it rolled for the contents of 2 chests.
It happens a lot more than you'd think, too.
And usually for terrible spells like Coma and Waken, which just really don't help you ever.
Because you'd think, like, the chances, I mean, they're not astronomically low, but you shouldn't see it very often, but I feel like you see it a lot more than you expect to. Oh, there we go.
4 Berserk Blades, baby. What can I do? So I'm to the point now where I don't have to worry about optimal sucking up my Berserk Blades, because I've got some spears and some other decent weaponry. But I still want to kind of get rid of them, just to make sure safety is safety.
As you can see, the Slinky is now a different form of Slinky. We're going to try and get him up as high as we can.
Rapier. So right now he was a griffin. Say goodbye to Slinky the Griffin.
Is that what that's supposed to be?
That's what
I
they
never knew.
It's a winged lion, which is effectively a griffin. Now he's gross. Yeah. He's a mini imp or something right now. I don't know. But I'm gonna try to feed him an egg sword. I'm gonna try to feed him a little bit more, because I wouldn't mind having a brute just to kind of poke around for a while now.
How many magic fruits you got? I know you got at least one.
I think I only have one.
Might be enough.
Red saber.
Shouldn't need that anymore.
I need a little more. There we go. So now we have a full pet with room to spare. This feeding didn't really take that long. Feeding is complicated. You have to kind of just do it, because you need to understand what's worth what, or else you're just never going to quite understand.
Yeah, I'm really bad at feeding still.
And just to wrap things up, get out of here. Got rid of that Berserk Sword because I don't like it. I meant to feed it and I just forgot because it was low. But yeah, so now we have Form 4. He's the most powerful form he can get. Capsule monsters often do learn a skill or two, or in one very rare case, 3. And I do want them to get a couple of levels in their particular forms, so that way they can try to learn whatever skills that they have that they can learn. The longer you go without taking care of that form learn, then it may just be inconvenient. So Form 4 is the highest they can get. Now, you'd think if you want to get it to its maximum form, or Form 5, just feed it some more. But at Form 4, you can't actually do that. You have to feed it a special fruit, which is dropped by those things that we talked about earlier at floor 27 through 29. I just don't want to fight because they kind of shred you at that point. So unfortunately, we're stuck with it. Every pet can evolve at some way through this cave via the drop of a specialty fruit through something. It evolves by eating the inverted element of its own fruit. So, for instance, my water pet will evolve by eating a fire fruit and so on and so forth. Sometimes it can be worth it to go for it, but most times you're not going to be able to. So it's good. It's wise not to get too fixated on it.
Yeah, not only do a lot of the M forms actually not gain you any value,
Ooh, an old
but
sword.
ooh, nice. Not only do a lot of the M forms not really gain you any value, but some of them, the fruits drop from monsters that are not worth fighting in a speed run because they just do too much damage or something. So we're
And
not
that's not
going to
to
see
mention
M
that
form here.
sometimes the specialty fruits in the M forms are just terrible.
Yep.
They're just not. Ooh, they're just not good forms. Like for Sully, the radish, radisher, he's cool and all. He's very bulky. His fourth form does not have attacks that are as powerful. I'm sorry, his M form does not have attacks that are as powerful as his final form, or fourth, whatever. I'm confused. It's better just to go to form 4 with him than form M. We just fought some Sphinxes there. They're good to catch up on EXP if we're running low. I'm not going to worry about them since I've eaten cores for breakfast, lunch, and dinner so far. We did find some floating eyeball thingies, and those floating eyeball thingies are called worm eyes. And they're scary because they can paralyze you, and there's not a very easy way to deal with paralysis. And they can go several times per turn, which is even worse.
Yeah, they take up a lot of time, and if you're lower level, they can potentially just kill your run. So definitely want to try to avoid those at all costs. These guys are fun too. These are gold Gorums. They are pretty easy to manipulate around, but if you have to fight them and you can't get away before they attack, they have very powerful attacks and also a ability called Golden Mist, and that ability is so strong a single one can kill like 2 or 3 of your party members. And with levels, even with levels, 2 of them will kill your whole party. So definitely try to avoid fighting those at all costs.
Oof.
Yeah, these guys are also not very fun to fight unless you can kill them easily. Artie has an 80% chance to instant kill with his deadly rod right now, and he missed. So this one can die. Okay, yeah. So there's 2 of them left. They're still pretty bad. Ice Valk he's going to take a decent amount of damage from that, but they have another one. I don't remember what the other spell is called, but the other spell is really
Snow
bad.
Stream or Snow Storm.
Yeah. Cold Stream, I think.
Cold Stream.
Yeah.
Well, Frost, maybe. Yeah, Cold Stream.
No, Frost is the princess.
Genies.
Oh. And genies, yeah. But anyway, worked out. Killed him. Didn't die. Easy game.
The stairs are up there.
Yeah, this is
This is gonna take a hot minute.
yeah.
What am I gonna do? Did I feed that red saber? I did.
Yeah, I just told you too. You probably don't need that anymore.
Yeah.
Whoops.
These guys and well genies are weak to the fire, and that's it at this point.
Oh yeah, Flying Blow. Flying Blow is good for him too.
Oh, that's right. Oh, there's another one.
Yeah, sometimes Artie doesn't like to kill things. He's a pacifist sometimes when he feels like it. And there's Coldstream. Decker should probably live no matter what happens. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, double Coldstream here. Ouch. Luckily,
And this is why I wanted that back attack, because it's very easy to just die if something goes really, really wrong. slap that flying blow on. Should be okay though. There we go. 80% works every time.
80%
Notice that
of the
my
time,
people that
none of the
died,
time.
their little yellow meters for their IP gauges are empty. I need to refill those. I really like IP existing because, oh my gosh, another one. IP means I can use my specialty attacks, and I can't do that if I don't have IP. And when you die, you lose it, which stinks. So I'm still looking for another fractional weapon. I found an old sword, and I didn't cover that. An old sword has the ability to deal 1/6 of an opponent's HP in terms of damage, which is quite helpful. Maxim and Decker, as well as Guy, who I didn't bring, can use it, and it's good on the not Decker guys just because of how much damage it can do. Comparing an old sword to a Myth Blade is a joke because a Myth Blade is just 100 times better, does more damage, but you can get a little trick with the old sword. It can combo with the Cancer Rock and give you an extra attack, which is sometimes kind of helpful. So as it stands right now, in terms of jelly killing, I've got Zap, which is the best ability in terms of magical damage. I've got no idea where the stairs are. I completely forgot. Here they are. I've got the Deadly Rod, which is helpful. And
You don't have a 3x for sealing, do you?
Nope, no super sword. I think I have a crystal wand somewhere, but that's not really worth it.
Yeah.
And I have Thunder for Scylla, which is the best spell that I can reasonably use for her right now. Pretty much at this point, if I found a Decker Blade, I'd be done with looking for stuff. Ooh, there's a Lizard Blow. There's a Salon weapon.
It's theoretically possible to kill the jelly with the setup he has right now, but it requires such great luck that it's not worth going for at all. So we're just going to keep opening chests and hope to find that Decker Blade. Oh yeah, you have Trick too. It's very, very useful.
Trick is an ability, which we didn't cover. It boosts the attack power of whoever it is cast on by 20%. You'll notice that spells, when you cast them, you can multi-target with them. You saw me doing it with Zap, among a few other things, like Vortex when I was attacking the cores. Trick, when cast on your entire party, will buff all of their attack by 20% of whatever there.
Okay.
No.
I'm telling you, this is it. This is it.
No, that's 4. No, this cannot be.
This is to earn.
No. I can't even remember what I was talking about. That's 4 Irish treasures in a single run. That's almost my record. My record is 5. Actually, that was 5 including the jelly, so if we kill the jelly, that's 5. Yeah, don't mind the boats that are parked in the middle of the 60-something floor right now, too. Boats don't move. They have a back, but they don't move. So right now, there's a back attack on 2 boats.
Another fun thing about fighting 2 boats is they don't have any actual abilities that do damage. They only summon things. And when there's 2 boats, it takes up all of the enemy slots. So you could theoretically just sit there forever and they would never do anything until you killed one and gave them a slot to summon into. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Doesn't really help anyone with anything, but it's cool. These are leeches. These guys are bad. They do a lot of damage. They will always attack before you. They teleport and get stuck in front of you, and it's just not fun. So we're gonna have to, or we're gonna hope that we don't have to fight any of those.
And for the next little while, you're gonna see me kind of pulsing my moves. Like I take a couple of steps and I pause for just a second. That's mostly because I want to keep an eye on things, and just if there's something that teleports, I can see where it will land. Oh boy.
That's a fun-looking party room.
Krieg called it. He said in the 70s we were going to get a party room. Krieg Spire, that one goes out to you.
Luckily, the stairs are down here. Right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, game's pretty easy if you can't tell. Easy every time.
Yeah, works every time. Oof. I'm not too scared about this dragon.
These are black dragons, right? Or
It
are
might be
you...
a red dragon.
Oh yeah, black and red dragons.
I may just have to take the plunge and go running. But I
He's
want to be on.
he's boxing you in there. Ooh,
That juke.
close.
I could handle it. I just don't want to take the time because these guys are kind of costly. They have the ability to sometimes instantly kill you. I had a couple of chances for back attacks, but I was distracted. My son just got home. I'm going to fight these guys because I do want to kill them. I want to deal with them. The way I'm positioned, if I move left 2 tiles, he may get another turn, and he may move left, and I don't want to have to deal with that. I also do want to take a few opportunities here, if possible, to get a little bit of IP, and occasionally these guys, if they don't shred me, which means if I knock them down to manageable numbers, will be able to just hurt me just a little bit.
Ooh, nice. Another party room.
Excellent. Kriegspire, I would like to thank you for all of these party rooms. Now, those guys, Gorgons, they're pretty important. They have the ability to drop... There's the stairs. What's called a Gorgon Rock. Gorgon Rocks are useful because they have an IP ability that deals 1/8 fractional damage, the same as a Deadly Rod. But the thing that's kind of a gimmick about that is the Deadly Rod you can actually use as an IP ability 3 times max per battle. And the Gorgon Rock you can only use 1 time per battle. Tops. Nope, we are not fighting that. Orkies have a little over 2,000 hit points, I think.
Yeah, if Artie misses a deadly rod strike on that guy, you're done. Unless, yeah, you're pretty much done.
I may get an opportunity. You'll see a little glitching up at the top. When there's too many things on the screen, sometimes things just flip out a bit.
Remember, that thing's offset, so...
Yep.
Scary times.
Now you'll see I back attacked it, but I landed on the stairs. This means I get the free attack with the free runaway, and I end on the stairs, which means safety.
Yeah,
so that room was
really
a little
good.
scary, but not the most terrible thing ever. If I were in a pinch, I would be hunting for Gorgons a bit more, but I'm not going to. I am still mainly going to be looking at chests, because I want that Decker Blade. A Decker Blade's a free win at this point, with all the other stuff I have. But also, there are a couple of other things I would like, including a handful more miracles, which I could use for recovery in a pinch, because there are a lot of things that could still go wrong. That is a good point, Krieg. But yeah, the last floor we're actually going to find in this 100-floor cave is actually floor 98, because floor 99 is where the jelly is sitting. So if we're looking for chests, then 98 is really going to be the cutoff, because there just isn't anything else after that. Oh boy. This is an ice rog?
Let's hope. So these sprites right here are Archfiend sprites most of the time. You can get lucky and have it be an ice rogue, which is a lot easier to kill, but Archfiends are very deadly. Okay, it's 1/1. That's not bad.
Do I have destroy? I thought I got destroy. Nope. You know what? What do I have? No, run
Archfiends
away.
are pretty fast. They do a lot of damage, and they attack or cast twice. And they just have a lot of deadly attacks. So fighting these guys can sometimes suck. Gloomy's probably one of the best things that you can have them do, and it still does decent damage. So
Yeah, they can cast Thunder, and you can find a shield called the Bolt Shield for Decker specifically, which is super duper helpful. But it doesn't really stop Gloomy's damage. The stairs are right there too.
Artie is probably not faster, I'm assuming.
Nope. And I don't really have any other way to boost his speed. 138. I need like 166 or something.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah. So I do have a couple of options here. I have a Curse Lifter. I could give the Curse Lifter to... Or, sorry, I could equip the Fatal Pick to Salon like Krieg is saying in chat.
Zap kills Ice Rogues in one hit, right?
I hope so.
Because
I'm going to have to IP grind anyway, so I may as well just take the chance.
You have MP to restore on Maxim?
I've got a couple of high magics I could use.
Could go with Valor every turn from Maxim. The classic. Or I guess Ceiling can cast it too. I'm not used to that.
Yeah, I got the Silver Sword back on Maxim, which is going to be super helpful here.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that did that much damage to those guys.
Another Berserk Blade, that's 5. Now, these guys are pretty bulky. They have about 1,300 hit points, and regular attacks, unless they're Thunder, don't really hurt these guys all that much. So I do like to just deadly them as quickly as possible. They have a pretty high propensity to just defend.
They also have a chance to steal your MP though, which is really, really bad. It can chew through your magic pretty quick, and if you don't have enough stuff to restore, you're pretty out of luck.
And it's actually part of the reason why I'm keeping Artie's MP a bit low at this point. Normally I'd like to just heal him up to be full, heal everybody up to be full if I can afford it, and then just have plenty of MP to go around. But in this case, I don't really worry about that, because if they try to steal my MP, they steal a lot of it. They could steal almost all of Maxim's MP in one go. They could steal about 1/3 to half of Artie's MP in one go. And there's maybe about 15% chance to have it happen, but it's really tedious when it does, because I've got a very limited amount of restoratives for MP. So I'm looking around for chests now, especially because I do want the ability to find chests while I have a chance. Later on, there, of course, is going to be a gaggle of chests to go through, but as we saw with party rooms, I may not always have the chance to get them. So I'm going to take chances that I can here and there. Just go scouting for a few extra things here and there, just to make things that much more comfortable for myself.
I really would like that Decker Blade.
Yeah, it would make things a lot easier. Arguably, even a Myth Blade would be pretty nice right now. But above all, I just like to survive. And in what's the floor cutoff for genies? 83 or 87?
I can't tell you. 87, I think.
Yeah, at floor 80, up until 84, we're going to find a few more Gorgons, which I can poke for the Gorgon Rock.
Pretty sure 88 on is just dragons and dark summoners, so I think 87 sounds about right. I know 87 is the last Archfiend floor too, right?
Yep, 87 is the last one.
These are wind genies. They are the worst genies because they are really, really fast. And typically with genies, they don't attack, but when they do attack, they do way too much damage. So having 3 genies on the screen that are faster than you, even though it's not a huge chance that they'll cast attacks, it's still really, really scary. So
I'm pretty sure I looked everywhere, so I am going to have to go past those genies. And they have 182 agility. I don't think, no matter what I did right now, I could outspeed them.
You have coma or something?
I have a couple of freeze balls. I have confused, which could actually help.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Ooh. There it is, voltage bolt.
Oh no.
No.
No one more ends it? Okay.
Okay, so that is perfect. We just wanted to showcase to you guys how scary wind genies can be. So that was intentional.
Totally. It's a great opportunity to use a miracle and heal up Artie's MP. Nope.
I was just saying how they don't usually use their attacks either, and they just double voltage bolt right off the bat. That was...
Do I have a... I didn't think I had a Zerko Axe. I thought I had a Zerko Flail. I see chat saying. Let's... Wow. I ran down instead of up because I have sweaty hands. Alright.
We just wanted to showcase to you guys what it looks like to have all your MP stolen this time.
Yeah, totally. They pretty often defend, but as you can see, 3 voltage bolts is just super duper scary. I do have it, okay. So I'm going to go Torrent, which is a very, very powerful water attack. I'm also going to do a Deadly here. I really didn't need to use that. But at this point, every bit counts. And I just want to make sure these guys are done for as quickly as possible. So that Vortex is actually the reason why the other Wind Genie died. So that Vortex I cast was selling, which only did a little bit, was actually super important. Every other Genie Artie can be pretty reliably faster than, because they only have like 120 agility or less. And Artie can pretty comfortably, I think I'm already at a little over 130 to 140 right now. So I don't need to worry too much about things outspeeding me for a little while longer. Very soon I'm going to be able to outspeed everything except for 3 enemies, that being the Dark Summoner, which is an extremely scary game-ending creature that comes in the 90s. The Jelly itself, and possibly Gold Dragons, depending on what my agility is. Now I gotta worry about Genies for until floor 87, and I'm on 78 right now, so I really do have a while to go. Another Lizard Blow.
Oh, better than Silver Sword.
Yep. So that's 2 Lizard Blows I've got. So pretty soon I'm just going to have to kind of start huffing it.
Still got
I'm trying to be a little safer here with my grabs because, as you can guess, it's just really, really difficult to get usable things, but...
no, we have Uncursed Rod, Old Sword, Lizard right now would be the setup. So it's not worth going for, or it's not worth just huffing it to the jelly right now, but it is a possible kill if we don't find anything better. So
and I do have Trick and Zap, so I do have a few alternative options to just kind of augment my abilities a bit, but it's going to be tricky to really get the numbers. Of course, you'll see that damage in this game, like almost every other game that we've highlighted in RPGs we love, it has damage rolls. There's a 12.5% or 1/8 damage variance on pretty much everything you do in this game, and I don't want to have to deal with that going sour, because a couple of bad rolls could pretty clearly just shut things down. Now, I'm killing the Basilisk first, and I'm going to run away. There is a purpose for this. Enemy drops in this game are kind of strange. They don't necessarily drop based on just killing things. Like if you kill 4 things, and each thing has a specialty drop, you're not going to get 1 drop from everything. How it works is the first enemy killed, I believe, is the more likely enemy to drop something. And if the first enemy that's killed does drop something, then the other enemies don't drop anything, or even if they do, you don't get it. So I killed the Basilisk first and ran away in order to ensure that I would at least be able to get something of use out of there if I did get anything at all. It is a pickle. Oh boy.
Yeah, let's hope it's this way. Looking good so far. If you have to go back up through that room, it's looking really bad because you'd have to fight at least 2 Archfiends. Archfiend sprites, at least. They have a chance to be Ice Rogues, maybe still. But they're probably not going to be Ice Rogues, so best to avoid those sprites at all costs.
Yep, they are pretty much the scariest thing that you're going to run into in high frequency.
Another problem with them, too, is that once you activate them by getting close enough, they follow you forever throughout the entire floor. They stay in the room they're in, but they will come up against the door trying to get at you, even if you leave the room. So pulling them at all means that if you have to go back through any of the doors that you came through, you're probably going to have to kill them because they won't get out of the way. So avoiding them at literally all costs is super important.
That worked out, but I could have poked it from the bottom of that doorway pretty easily, so I wasn't too scared of it. Now this is bad. Silver dragons are quite the terrifying creature.
Yeah, they're bad.
You see, he just walked up.
So the last dragons you fight in the game are metallic dragons. They're copper, silver, and gold. Copper's attack once each, silver's attack twice each, and gold's attack 3 times each. And they can do a lot of damage if they use their special moves. So
And they can use their special moves each turn, should they so desire.
Yeah, they could, like, the silver dragon's special ability is I forgot what it's called. It's like silver dust or something.
It's
but
diamond
it attacks
dust.
Diamond dust. That's what it is. Yeah, diamond dust, and it attacks everyone in the party and does a lot of damage. In fact, it'll probably one-shot some of the people in the party right now. So if you could potentially have up to 4 diamond dusts against 2 silver dragons, and that's a run ender no matter what level you are.
There's a Gorgon Rock. That gives me a little bit of flexibility with Salon, should you decide to do something different. I can have her focus on magical support and using the Gorgon for an IP ability damage. I'm the worst at this.
They're 3 tiles from the left tile, so
There we go.
ceiling, yeah. The ceiling. You're probably better off with just Lizard Blow, I think, with 2 fractionals already, but it's hard to say. You're better
Right
off
now,
with Decker Blade, so let's
Yeah, a Decker Blade
let's
just
get that one.
alleviates any concern of variance. If Decker doesn't get the Decker Blade, he's like Creekspire said in chat, running the Lizard Blow. It's the most powerful weapon that has a 3 times attack damage multiplier in its ability, and we of course want that. to be on our strongest person. There's Destroy. Destroy is a spell that Maxim and Artie can use.
Artie can't. Sealant
I mean,
can.
sorry, Maxim and Selen can use. It costs 8 MP and it has a 50% chance to just kill somebody. And we like that because it means we don't have to equip deadly weapons. Tia can also use it, but we didn't bring her.
It's the poor man's deadly rod, basically. It's pretty useful.
Yeah, the perk to it is that you don't have to bring a curse lifter, and you can still kind of get a chance to kill stuff with a relatively fair likelihood. Now, if you multi-target with Trick, it will boost all of your party members by the same amount. If you multi-target with Destroy, it won't. You won't have such good fortune. So don't listen to chat if chat is telling you to multi-target with it all the time, every time. Because chat's trying to troll you. So we're running out of things to talk about at this point, and that's because there's not a whole lot else that's going on. 87 is going to pretty much eliminate a lot of the scary critters from our challenge and just bring me to the point where I want to open a couple of chests. I want to get some IP, and I want to go for the kill on the jelly.
The main thing about this part of the cave is just focusing on not running into enemies you don't have to fight, like archfiends and genies. That's pretty much all there is to do on these levels, and open chests, obviously, if you're still looking for items to kill the jelly with.
I may take advantage of this time for just a minute to let this guy hit me up a bit. I want to get beat up some so my IP meters can charge, and I don't have a lot of options for safe beatings, so to speak. This guy doesn't have attacks that are too powerful. He doesn't have any AoE attacks, he doesn't have any magic spells, and that's extremely helpful. So I'm going to hope that he pokes a few of my other people some, because I do need quite a bit of IP. At least 88% for the Lizard Blow users. At least 60%, I want to say, for Artie and for Bagel. Of course.
It's going to be 65 for Lizard Blow, I think, and then you're going to want...
I want to get off 2 deadlies.
3. Well, with Old Sword, you're going to probably want all 3, but... Or, well, I don't know, maybe not. It depends on your rolls, I guess. Really just need that Decker Blade.
But because this is the Ancient Cave, I'm not actually banking on... I'd love to get the Decker Blade, and even so, I still need 100% of Decker's IP to use it. But even if I don't get it, I do want to have enough IP for backups. Oof.
Nice.
Blaze is trying to sabotage... or Slinky's trying to sabotage our run by killing the thing that we're grinding on. These grinds aren't always mandatory, but of course, if you get into fights that just kill you, then it just, you have no choice but to find something to wallop on you for a little while. I'm putting Artie in the front row because I do want him to get hit for a little bit more damage. He can survive a punch, and the more damage you take, obviously, the more your IP meter fills.
This is another problem, though. Sometimes enemies just don't want to cooperate, and they hit the wrong people, like so. And you just have to wait and heal up and engage over and over until they decide to hit the people that you need IP on.
Now, I could go farming on Copper Dragons, which is a common strategy, but Copper Dragons have the propensity to do something called Cinder Blast, which hurts a lot. It has the possibility of just outright killing Salon, and I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, and in a normal any percent, you bring Guy instead of her, and he can tank the Cinder Blasts a lot easier, so it's usually the monster you'll
grief.
farm IP off of, but it's a lot safer in a run with Seelan or with Tia to fight something like this. Yeah, she might survive it, but
I don't want to take the chance because if she dies, she has a full meter right now. Please stop beating up the ceiling and the bagel. He's attacking. Typical marathon luck. It wouldn't be a marathon if something didn't go wrong, and this is, I think, the one thing that's going wrong so far. Thankfully, I have Strong, which is a cheap spell. Finally. So I don't have to worry too much about running out of MP anytime within the next decade. So the big thing here is getting Decker's IP to get filled up, and that's why I completely unequipped him. He even naked could survive pretty easily. Artie doesn't need full. He needs pretty much what he's got there. So I'm just going to keep him in the front because I don't want to take the time to switch. It won't really matter, but as long as Decker's the one getting hit maybe once or 2 more times, I'll be okay. I just don't have any other choices. The worst thing could be if I end up finding a team of 2 copper dragons, because that's a pretty common spawn. I'd like to kill them both, but if I use a deadly rod to try to kill one, there's a possibility I might just whiff, and if I whiff, then they could both Cinder Blast, and that would kill everybody except Decker, and then I have to start this whole process all over again.
Man, this guy does not want to hit Decker.
In typical Ellie fashion, something happens that results in nothing going the way I plan. I'm going to put Decker where Artie is.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe just try it. But that's when he's gonna start attacking the other slot.
Hey, there we go. We got one. So one more hit and I'll be happy, because like I said, if I do find a Decker Blade, I want to be at absolute full for Decker. He's the only person who needs to be at full. Because he's the only person with an IP ability that takes the complete meter. Everyone else takes, what, 80% or so, or 88%. Of course. Go get some popcorn, folks. This will take a hot minute.
Hopefully not.
This has been about 5 minutes of grinding, which is 5 minutes I really didn't want to have to worry about to begin with. Unfortunately, his only attacks are those 2. The ones in the earlier floors have a whip attack. And the whip attack it can hurt quite a bit. There we go.
Nice.
So I'm just going to try to find the stairs now and really hoof it. Because, oof. I may have a bad opportunity here. No, I lucked out.
Nice. Yeah, that's really good. That's
Ice rocks
basically
are-
what you want to see.
Yeah, this is like the one pleasant Archfiend combination that you can find because it's entirely tolerable. Both guys only go one time, and Ice Rogs can die to the Deadly Rod. Archfiends can too, but they don't hurt nearly as much. I could cast Magic here with Artie, and I think I actually will. Because I forgot to equip everybody else. I didn't notice it until just now. I'm actually going to cast Valor here, because I'm a dope.
Yeah, you can cast healing spells on undead enemies, and it acts like a damage spell, which is pretty useful in a situation like this, where you have an undead enemy that has a lot of HP.
And they're not the scariest thing. They got about 1700 health, and you saw Zap did nearly half of it in one cast. Granted, I am a little bit higher level than normal, but even so, it's always going to do quite a chunk. Valor does a bit more than Zap, and that was pretty easy to deal with. I'm going to slap these things back on because I want to boost my defense a little bit as well. And of course, I'm still looking for that deadly blade, or Decker blade if I can find one. Now you notice that that guy's not moving.
Might be on a bush.
Yeah, if enemies spawn on bushes, there's one specific tile in their sides that is like their eye. And based on that, it determines whether or not they can actually move. He was on a bush with his right tile. So, oof. This could be bad. Oh, this actually worked out perfectly.
Perfect. Yeah, that's nice.
I couldn't have prayed for anything better. So again, at this point now, I'm past genies. I'm only worried about dragons now. I'm also past the archfiends. So I have two map sprites I'm going to be worrying about now. Oh wait, no, I guess I have one more floor. What floor am I? Is this 87?
I hope so.
My heart can't take this. Ugh,
Oh no.
this is
Double
actually really
thumb.
bad.
Is gonna kill Sealand for sure. Yeah. And now oh, that's not good. Gotta farm IP on 2 people again now. And the only thing to really farm IP on from here on out is Copper Dragons, so we're gonna have to hope that Sealand can withstand a Cinder Blast. I think she'll be alright.
With their Snow Sword, it'll definitely help. 88, okay, now I'm past them.
Oh yeah, she has a blue chest helm too, that's right. Yeah, she should be fine.
If I have to go through that room, I might not be fine.
Yeah, so this is what we call a Dragon Con. Dragon Cons are not fun. They take a lot of time if you have to go through them.
I'm not going to worry about killing dragons right now because I need to figure out where the stairs are first. At this point, it's just a matter of urgency to find the stairs and then determine where I need to go. 148. So I outspeed the dragons now, which is nice with Artie at the very least. So if I get in a fight like that...
Yeah, that's scary, wow.
There's the
Oh,
stairs.
nice. Yeah, if the stairs were on the Dragon Con floor or room, that's not good. So that was really nice to find the stairs in there.
Now I gotta be really careful around these guys too, because these teleporters have a tendency to teleport in the direction that you're running. Occasionally they can teleport right in front of you, and you can just run right into them, and depending on what direction they're facing... Oh, wow. I have so much stuff. I'm gonna have to just drop a bunch of crap.
Ooh, big raid, welcome. You're just in time for the scariest part of the ancient cave run.
Let's make sure I just don't drop anything important. Like that lizard blow. Did I never equip myself? I don't think I ever did. There we go. I noticed the snow sword was still in my inventory, so I was confused.
Yeah, iris items taking up 4 spots, that's what it is.
4 spots of garbage, basically. I'm not going to chance that.
Yeah, destroy. Should be easy peasy.
Those were things that got a little scary because I had the Deadly Rod and it whiffed an 80%. And I just whiffed a 50% too. And these guys can kind of hurt because they can go 2 times. And they can do this attack,
Ooh,
which is
diamond
really bad.
dust. Luckily,
I had to
Decker is the greatest character. He just saves runs by just tanking everything. We needed to farm IP anyway, so it's not too bad that they lost it.
That's another 80% miss.
I want a backline Decker to run if this... Oh!
Yeah.
And that's why we love Destroy.
Now these guys can hit hard. A lot of times they can do nothing, but they can also use Cinder Blast, which just hits everybody. So I'm just going to mash run away because of how quick these guys are. They will often get the free turn to at least hit me 1 time, and then I can just deal with it. Whoops. So there, that wasn't so bad for Max. Or Bagel. Bagel's ready to go again.
We're hoping for a skill they have called Cinder Blast. It attacks the whole party and does a lot of damage, so it should fill up everyone's IP bars pretty high, assuming it doesn't kill Seelan. If it kills her, then that's just bad. But I think she should be okay with her equipment and her levels.
Sakura Rico, I'm not using my Evolve Capsule Monster for 2 reasons. 1, I don't want to deal with the animations that come from him sometimes doing something. And 2, with as bulky as he is, he may just spend time doing a lot of damage. And if he dies, then I don't need to worry about it all that much.
Moment of truth.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
we go.
we're good. Just one more of those.
I arguably don't need it for Artie, and I'm just going to try one more time.
Well, you need
Oh yeah, I'm going to have to do it 2 times actually.
at least 52% for 2 rod uses.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm good with IP again. Let's heal up and mosey on out of here.
Got 8 more floors. Still really looking forward to finding a Decker Blade or Myth Blade because the current setup is not optimal for killing the jelly. I'll just leave it at that.
there's actually a certain item I was sort of hoping for in that blue chest. What's a pretty good item that we could find in the blue chest that would really help our run right now?
Ice hairband for sure. We're looking for that or hairpin, I think.
A hairpin? Nah, I do apologize. I am going a little bit over my time, but
Yeah, there's a blue chest item called the Gates Blade that attacks 8 times in a single turn. It uses a full IP bar, so you can only do it once, but it does a lot of damage. So if you don't find Decker Blade, but you find that, it's almost enough. It's basically enough to make up the damage for using like an old sword or a myth blade instead.
Yeah, it's
So
a fair alternative because it does flat damage, which is the big deal compared to the fractional attacks, which do well, fractional amounts of damage. Because you can use it at any time versus the fractional weapons like the myth blade, which you have to use first turn to get the maximum effect. Otherwise, they really just don't do a whole lot. The Gates Blade itself is unimpressive. It's just this ability that's wonderful, but it's a blue chest item, and therefore we're likely not to find it.
yeah, it's probably, I would say, probably the most rare. I don't know if they actually have different chances to roll items or not, but I feel like it's the most rare. I definitely find Gaze Blade less than I find anything else. So
Now you can bring it with you into the cave, and there is one that you can find in the story by defeating Gades at a certain point during the plot, which is it's a mandatory fight, but it's scripted or is anticipated that you're going to lose.
yeah, if you farm up levels and or RNG manipulate or have the gear for it and stuff, and you kill Gades in the story when you're not supposed to, he gives you his weapon, and it is pretty powerful for a while in the game. And then you could take it into the cave in a casual playthrough, so it's pretty nice to kill him at that point in the story.
I really am surprised that I've only found one old sword and 5 berserk blades. It really is kind of rare. But then again, that is the excitement of playing a randomizer effectively. Before randomizers became cool, this was the randomizer, and I used to play this as a child back when I was 11 and 12.
We also theoretically have enough floors left to complete Iris percent at world record pace, so I'm hoping.
You're a monster.
Just kill the category once and for all.
Yeah, sub 3 hour Iris percent would be a pretty historic moment.
Old armor is a decent armor. It gives an attack buff of like 10 or 20 or something. 20, yeah, it sounds about right. So it's nice to put on people that are using good weapons, like Decker can wear it. I think he might be the only person in this party that can wear it.
Yeah, Decker and Guy can both
Decker
wear it, but Guy's not here, so...
Yeah, but it's nice for sure to put on him.
See, we're finding some box floors. We haven't really found a floor like this yet. Floors come in a variety of shapes and sizes. Sometimes they're just convoluted messes of design. Other times they are just big boxes like this. There's a weird sort of glitch that we've discovered recently in which floor can spawn without stairs, and it's because either the stairs are located somewhere that you just can't find them, or they're just like not in the floor with any sense of reason.
Yeah, there are some glitched floors where the rooms don't connect properly, and I found 2 of those in like 3 days once, and it was pretty soul crushing. So they can definitely kill a run, because some of them theoretically you can walk into the void and maybe get back into a room that has the stairs, but generally you're never going to be able to do that. And sometimes you can't even do it because the room that the stairs are in has no door to it. Luckily, we haven't found any of those glitched floors, but...
So I'm still finding a couple of things that I just haven't managed to find, which is kind of silly if you think about it, considering how many chests we've opened on how many floors now. There have been runs that have had floor 98 Decker Blades, and that used to be one of my old personal bests before my 1 hour 9 minute. If you die at this point, you lose everything. And the thing that's frustrating the most about it is you lose the blue chests that you found along the way, and you also lose the iris items that you found along the way. So enjoy your collectibles that you will no longer see for a very long time. You can use an item called the Providence, and if you use that, it takes you out of the cave, and it brings with you all of your iris items and all of your blue chest gear, so you can use it to theoretically re-enter the cave with some stacked goodies. And occasionally, if you're doing poorly early on, but you find a good blue chest shield or something, you may want to exit the cave and re-enter, just to prevent yourself from getting into a situation where you're just going to die and not be able to take advantage of having something really useful. One common scenario is if you find a Gades blade and suddenly your door is blocked by blue mimics, which will just outright shred you. You can use the Providence to get out and sort of try again. In addition, when you complete the cave, it is the only way out, so if you accidentally feed your pet the Providence, then congratulations, you are not ever getting out of the cave.
Well, when you kill a jelly, it actually puts it back into your inventory, I guess. I found that out like a week ago. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't know that until like this month. But yeah, so if you can drop Providence. I usually drop it so I don't accidentally use it. And if you do kill the jelly, it puts it back into your inventory, which is nice.
I didn't actually know that. I've never had a scenario come up where that came to be. So thank you. I learned something new today.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I saw it happen, and I was like, oh, sweet. It doesn't do me any good because the run's ended, but cool.
So at this point, we're done. It is now time to take on the Jelly Juggernaut himself.
So a little fun game we like to do is when we're fighting the jelly, since he has 9,980 HP, and it's going to be real close, we like people to pull out their calculators and follow along and calculate the damage we do to see how close we get by the end, just in case we don't get enough. So it is calculator time, people.
You'll notice I took mine out, so I'm going to go along with you so we can have a little fun here together.
Place your bets on the number we're ending up at. I'm going to say... It's rough.
I'm thinking around 8,200 maybe.
I'm going to say 9,980. Don't forget the blaze form.
Right. So I'm just looking through my equipment really quick for anything that boosts attack power by any more than what I've already got. Gut is important as well. I believe that involves something to do with crit. I'm not entirely sure. Whoops.
I didn't think that it does, but I've heard people say that.
So at this point, my first turn is going to consist of some fractional attack usage, and that's pretty much all I can really hope for. So this is just the strongest and oldest of jellies. I control everything in this cave. I'm also the last enemy you meet here. Since you've come this far, show me what you're made of. And if you make a mistake, you can back out really quick. But prepare for his gelatinous gestures once you say commit, because you're going for it. So, oh man, I gave him the Gorgon Rock. That could actually be really bad.
Well, you have Lizard Blow on Sealant, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. You don't want to do that, because she's going to trick,
I think I'll
probably.
Yeah, do trick right now.
Man, I don't know if double trick's worth it or not, but...
That was an alright roll. We appreciate anything that that Slinky does, because Slinky sometimes doesn't really contribute at all. That was pretty low. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do another one, I think. I could do Thunder from the back. And I could just attack with Decker again, I guess. I don't have a whole lot of other options. Yeah, so at this point, I'm gonna have to really pray for high rolls on everything I do. And for an attack of some kind to get used.
Okay, so we need to do 3,600 damage-ish in this turn.
Where's my Thunder? And I got Zap here. That's all I got. Alright, so this is where we pray for some miracles.
Yeah, we're gonna need Blaze to do something good here.
Yeah, Blaze could help do about 800 points, which would really make a huge difference. Decker's probably going to do about 17 or 1800, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he'll go that high.
Oh, there we go. That's something. There we go.
601 damage short.
And this is where we'd end the run, if we actually got a kill. There is a glitch you can do to suicide on the jelly. And if you kill your party, the battle ends. And then when the battle ends, you technically do get the achievement for killing it. But unfortunately, we didn't luck out that time.
Yeah, another thing too is the jelly just is so underwhelmed by your attack power that he commits Sudoku and just leaves you in the cave by yourself.
Now, it is possible to outspeed him, but we couldn't do that, unfortunately, with what we had. So let me get out of here really quick and go through my own tradition, which is depositing the items that we found and managed to take out into the basement of Grubik Pub. It's pretty much the last thing to do in a run, so we can actually log our Iris items. Because if you don't deposit them and you go back into the cave, then you risk losing them again. So as you can see, there's 10 spots for the items. And now I'm not continuing Iris percent despite getting 4 items. There's no way I'm doing that again. If I had all 5, I could have, but I don't have the ability to dedicate potentially another 12 hours to this. There's one last thing you can do, and when you defeat the jelly, you'll actually be able to do this. You receive a key to the ancient cave, and when you do that, you get access to this room back here. Normally, you can take those things with you, and even in the main campaign of the game, when you can take them with you, it's pretty exciting because there's some pretty effective weapons, or armor, I guess you could say. They're really good, and if you talk to this guy here to proc the cave opening and then open the door, you can take the stuff with you. So it's a little way to hack a few things into the cave for a second time around, but you won't take them out of the cave once you're done, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that trick's used in a category called ACAC, which is Ancient Cave All Characters. You basically do a run with 3 of the characters like we have now, and then bring the other 3 in on a second run. And those items in that back room are pretty important because you need powerful stuff when you can only bring Decker on one of the 2 runs.
So that's pretty much everything. I've taught you everything that there is to know about the Ancient Cave. All you have to do now is choose whether or not you'd like to run it yourself or continue watching us as we stumble through the cave and spelunk. I appreciate everyone that came aboard and watched us. Meets, thank you for hopping in and keeping me company and giving me some great commentary support.
Yeah, anytime, man.
Krieg and Meets or whoever, if you want to link our AC or Ancient Cave Discord, we do have a fair sized following, and we'd always appreciate having someone else in our club to spelunk with. And Profness, there is an Ancient Cave randomizer. I will not talk about it because Meets runs it.
I run the Ancient Cave randomizer quite frequently, and it is terrible and awesome at the same time.
Yeah, definitely hit us up in a DM or something if you'd like, and we'll be happy to oblige with some examples of the Ancient Cave randomizer and show you just how imbalanced it really is. But with that, I'm going to say let's go ahead and wrap it up because there's one more game I believe for today that's on deck, and we'll go ahead and get that started since we ran over a little bit. So thank you again, everyone, for watching. And I'm sorry I couldn't give you a jelly kill, but this was better than last year's run versus Elmagus, in which I beat him in a race, but I still couldn't kill a jelly, but we got closer this time. So next time we'll get it.
Yeah, thanks guys for having me. It was a lot of fun. Stop by the Ancient Cave Discord if you're interested in running, and we'll see you guys out there.
All right.